Ready?
I guess I'll be forward. I hated this. I'm not looking forward to this discussion. But go ahead, Nick. Roll
Oh,
intro.
hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem on
Woo! Crazy.
LRMonline.com and Genreverse Podcast Network. Today we are here to discuss She-Hulk. Don't know, remember the name of the episode, but it's
Episode
called Just Jen.
6. Just
Just
Jen.
Jen. Which you heard what Kyle had to say about it up top.
Did my thing draw you down, or were you already down on this a bit yourself, Nick?
It's my least favorite so far. It did feel like a filler episode more than last week's did.
Oh, how did that feel more than last week? They feel both equally pointless, but go ahead. Sorry.
Excuse me.
That was more entertaining than this episode. You know what? This is the only thing that makes Miss Marvel worse than this is the fact that it was only 6 episodes and only 3 of them were half decent, and then the 2.5 were half decent, and then 3.5 were bad. This has got some positive moments in almost every episode, but it is such a freaking mess. And between editing and not knowing what they want to do, or not being able to do what they wanted to do because they either couldn't write it, or the editing and visual effects thing took over. I honestly want to put this below Miss Marvel as the worst Marvel show there is. I just can't quite until I see the rest of it. But dude, it's infuriating. It's awful. It looks awful. It plays awful. It's written awful. It's edited awful. The visual effects are awful. Everything about this show has just been one steady decline. And what a wonderful full idea it originally was. This episode, man, at least they last week I mentioned how they played on some negative female stereotypes about how women hate each other. This one they played up on bridezillas and mistreatment of bridesmaids and some of the some of the other things. So at least they equaled out a little bit, but they of course added in another man bad thing with Mr. Immortal, which was just,
that was more for comedy.
Again, it was just again. That's what it was. It was like again. So I don't know if I don't know what the writer showrunner Miss Gal's past is or whatever, if she hates women as well, but I don't know, man. I'm done with this show. I want it to be over. This should have been 6 episodes. It should have been individual case things like they tried to have, only actually make the courtroom stuff funny. But there's not 8 episodes of stuff here, and it feels like a waste of time.
I don't dislike it as much as you do at all. It was a little disappointing compared to other weeks. I think they're getting exactly what they are trying to go for, which is lately being more episodic, which I still applaud them for trying, because that's where most of the dramas lose me. It's like, okay, now we're just waiting for the fight with the big bad. Like, you have like your strong start
with the big bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. This series now is building towards it, but with the last scene. But I don't need that. It would be fun to just have a sitcom show like this. Like, I think part of our downness on it is
sitcom is a specific type of thing, but a comedy, an episodic comedy. I've mentioned Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. If this had been that, where the even episode to episode didn't connect jack shit, and we had a case where she's defending this B-lister, this C-lister, this D-lister that I don't even know, and have to look up on Marvel Wikipedia, that would have been great. I would have appreciated that, even with 2 or 3 episodes of man bad and woman bad, would have been fine. But no, they can't even do that. Sorry.
I still think you're overblowing the man bad thing, especially in this episode.
Hey,
where
Christy!
man good.
Hey, am I overblowing the man bad thing on She-Hulk, or is it really getting on your nerves too? She says it's getting on her nerves, but whatever. She's got a vagina, not me, so I'll let her.
And she speaks for all women, so. like
I
the
know a lot
president
of
of
other.
black
I
people.
know several other females that are pretty pissed off at it too. Stacy and Courtney as well. So, but anyways, Nick, go ahead.
I don't know. I just feel like, especially with this episode, like, yeah, there's Mr. Immortal, who I looked up and is kind of what you want from Harvey Birdman because he is an F-list superhero.
Yeah,
From Marvel Comics, Earth 616.
It's fine.
He's like a kid in that who gets himself killed all the time, so he doesn't care much about his teams, and most of the teams he's on gets killed, and then that makes him depressed. And this is like taking a real life version where he's like, I can't die. Like rather than get any confrontation, including their conversation about the court case, he's just like, oh, out the window. It's just more comedic effect. And otherwise, I'd say this episode said man good because she like meets the good man, the nice guy who hopefully doesn't turn out to be someone who's getting close to or related to the final scene.
We'll see.
And yeah, this one is very much, I don't know. I just think you're looking into, you're finding what you want to find. You're looking to prove something that's proving because you're looking for it. Whereas it hasn't bothered me like at all. Especially the weeks you've really been upset for it. I'm like,
and again,
like for example, the troll site 100% on point and not necessarily. They never say man driven. It's just trolls, and it's 100% on point. What you would find and what you do find, even talking
like
about the show,
4chan and stuff like that. Yeah.
A little bit more deep web than just Twitter. Yeah.
Right. And again, my upsetness has been mostly at the hypocrisy, but I also pointed out that she has started playing on toxic female stereotypes. So bravo on that. And I've just said that point that the beating that dead horse doesn't appeal to me. Like I love a good toxic male joke as much as I love a good toxic female joke. It's when you beat either horse to death and then continue to beat it that I don't care. I mean, who really wants to listen to someone tell them that their gender's awful for 30 minutes once a week? At some point, even if you're not like, oh, men aren't that bad, even if some of the points they're making are true, who really wants to just be hit every week? Your gender sucks.
Me.
And again,
I watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where every character sucks.
I forget, Nick.
Most of the shows I watch are about terrible people.
Well, no, that's the thing. Watching a terrible person is different than having. Never mind. It's fine, Nick. It's all right. Go ahead.
But yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about this episode.
It was funny in parts. Good. What did you laugh at? Out of curiosity, and I'm not being snarky. I'm curious as because Christine laughed at. She found the God. She laughed at one thing. I think it was something during the Titania fight. So
Titania got her face busted.
Yeah.
I I appreciated the moment where Jen was having trouble turning to the Hulk because it reminded me of Infinity War. And then I'm like, she's so drunk. Is she gonna shit her pants instead of like turning into the Hulk?
The drunk thing is what I saw going on. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. What's gonna happen? And then I thought maybe she would use the anger, like that. Even that feels like a missed moment for either a good let me get control of my powers moment or another good moment for funny with her getting angry and having like a drunken Hulk like speaking in broken Hulk English, something like that. But instead it was just like drunk, focus, here I am. Again, that's just a missed opportunity. That's not me saying that particular scene was bad. It's just like, man, so much could have. It's wasted potential. But the fight, I don't know, man. And having her slip on ice to end it, that was goofy as hell. And the whole show's goofy as hell, so I guess that fits its tone. But it's just a awful tone.
Well, yeah, like I was gonna say, like I've already kind of mentioned it with Mr. Immortal. I still like seeing a world where things are kind of normal, but like at the same time, there's an Asgardian pretending to be like pop star, or like this guy has all these wives and he's technically declared dead, so he doesn't have to be involved in a divorce. Like I just like the idea of like, oh yeah, there's just weird shit, or yeah, a superstar who's also of superpowers shows up to my wedding, or like, oh my god, She-Hulk's at my wedding. It's like it's kind it's like celebrity culture if celebrities were more dangerous. Like there's a story
Yeah.
recently where someone asked Keanu Reeves in the lobby if he wanted to come to their wedding, and just Keanu Reeves just showed up in the same clothes he was wearing to like this couple's wedding. Only it's like in a world where the celebrities are like the Avengers or that some sort of thing.
It's one of those. This show has got an issue, in my opinion, where like how should I word this? So in the comics, you have arcs that are more serious. Usually, team arcs will be team books will be more serious than others. Certain individual books can be incredibly funny, lighthearted, completely different. And in comics, that feels easier, better, more okay. Like going from a fourth wall breaking Deadpool or She-Hulk is smoother in comics. You know, when you see them again in an Avengers or an X-Men book, and they're more serious versus television and movies. I won't deny that I think part of this show's issue with some, including myself, is that it doesn't feel like the MCU. And for better or worse, the MCU has its style of comedy and its balance of comedy and seriousness. But this is such a drastic change that even with like the judge, like some of the courtroom stuff that I've mentioned, like the judge allowing things that would never be allowed, it's hard to accept this as part of the same world that Armor Wars is going to take place in, or that Secret Invasion will take place in. That this doesn't, it not even just tonally, because again, I love comedy, I love laughing, and I love dirty humor. I mean, it's the way it's done. It's not well written, it's not well edited, and the way that they do this, I don't know, man, it doesn't feel like a smooth transition between the two. Do you know what I'm saying? This really feels removed, and it feels alien in the MCU, and not, I know you somewhat like it, but it doesn't feel alien in a good way to me. Do you feel that it's alien? You're just okay with it, or like how do you feel about that?
I continue to like, just like I liked Guardians and stuff at the time. Again, I'm not comparing it to that, but I like that we can have something like this and then something like Civil War, you know.
But even Guardians felt like it fit.
No, I mean, I'm saying like I feel like this fits too. It's just another like, because I feel like superhero films have a unique opportunity that Westerns and even Star Wars does not, where you can do a bunch of different genres. Whereas like, you know, Westerns one of the longest running genres. But and people compare superhero stuff to that, where it's like, oh, it's gonna die off like the Western. It's like, guys, the Western was a number one thing for decades and decades, and they were always stuck with like, you don't suddenly have well, you do, but like it's more like Mel Brooks is making fun of it if you have like a funny Western. They're just all John Wayne movies, or like Star Wars stuff. I like some, I don't like others. The tone never changes slightly from one Star Wars movie to the other. It's the exact same universe, exact same tone, exact same look.
Maybe
I think Marvel gets to have more fun.
Prequels, sure, but not on the OT. But that's okay.
Well, I mean, they try to keep it too close. I want to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, with Filoni, it makes sense that the tones are all similar to prequel and his cartoons. But yeah, anyways.
But I just feel like even if this isn't your cup of tea, Marvel. I mean, DC is doing it too. Or I mean, it's easier for them to do it because it's not all connected. But like, you can have the Snyder type shit, and I guess that helps that it's not all connected. Because then you can have
that's
Harley
what
Quinn.
I was just saying. If this was its own thing and it wasn't part of the MCU,
but at the same time,
would it
like,
be better? Maybe.
Peacemaker is part of the official universe, and it feels completely different than like Batman v Superman, to a point where you're like, yeah, I get it's the same universe because you're saying it. So I feel like that, I guess. It is their weirdest project to date, but I still feel it's in line with giving them freedom that other franchises don't have.
Yeah, and I also don't have as much give a damn for Snyder's movies like BVS and Man of Steel. None of those.
Same.
Yeah, I could leave them just as easy.
I was just using it as an extreme comparison versus even the Suicide Squad.
It works, but like I said, that was good, and I think it was Jonesy on BGR a while ago that was saying he can excuse bad writing if it's good, and I think he was saying that about Kenobi. Hate to bring up Star Wars on Marvel Mayhem, but you check out the Cantina for more. But this wasn't, and Peacemaker was. So I can kind of see that. And I'll even say this, Nick, I again hate the Star Wars thing, but Andor is a very tonally different show. And even I told Cam on our review for that, I said I think I wanted 1 inch closer to Star Wars than we currently are. It's not bad though. So while I didn't give it as high marks as Cam did, I didn't hate it, but I do feel that it too almost isn't Star Wars enough. But we'll see. That's 12 episodes. It's only 3 in.
On a different show. Well, I could talk about Andor for a while, but I don't want to. I do want to, but we have a different show for that. You
guys might talk about that
the
on
Cantina
Geek this week.
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about that. That'll be our topic this week.
Yeah.
For everyone wants to know news and then Andor.
How are you? I mean, Nick, this is yet another show where here we are. I know this is we're in the last couple of episodes coming up, but we just finished the middle episodes, 5 and 6, and man, again, it's kind of a downer there, and how are you feeling doing this again, talking about a mid-season lull again on the upteenth Marvel show? Like, how are you feeling like the state of Marvel right now as Phase 4 is?
I think it's their adjustment period. I've had this conversation with my friend because he was like, well, why are they driving off a cliff? And I was like, first of all, you haven't seen the last 3 movies. You're just listening to what other people are saying about it.
I saw them.
I was like, oh, yeah, at least you've seen everything, at least in your case, Kyle. Of course, we see and talk about all of them. But I just feel like it's a readjustment period where they're trying to set up what's coming without having everything. I guess the first few phases did a good job of every other movie, or every third movie had the stones, and then you had another movie that had less to do with the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a readjustment period, and it's also they're spending a lot of time this phase introducing us to new faces so they don't have to keep paying the old faces.
And I'm not
like we're getting a different Hawkeye, a different Hulk. Right.
I'm not necessarily getting at whoops, sorry, wrong button. I'm not necessarily getting at the story, like the whole where is the story going. I'm talking the actual quality, Nick. Like in Phase 4, we've had what many consider to be the most worst movie or most pointless movie in Eternals. Neither one of us liked it. You didn't care for it. I didn't care for it.
Still, I'd put below it for sure. But.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that there's not worse, but that's one of, and it's in this phase. Most people were let down by Black Widow in one way or the other. It was a mid movie. It was no one came home singing, and that was one of those ones that a lot of people had high hopes for. Spy thrillers, espionage. It's got Florence freaking Pugh in it. Who doesn't love that?
And I feel like that kind of fits what I was just saying, where like that movie is mostly there to introduce us to two Thunderbolt characters.
Right, but we're talking about the quality of the film. People complained about the editing. They complained about what they did with Taskmaster. They complained about the CGI. They complained about the film itself, not again how it connects to the bigger thing. So Eternals, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, solid freaking movie. I don't really have anything negative to say until it becomes a pretty cookie cutter film there at the end. But I don't really have too much negative to say about it.
That movie super solid, especially the humor.
Right.
Throwing Trevor in that changes it a lot.
It was great. I love it. And who doesn't like Serban Kingsley playing Trevor again? I'm happy to see him coming back. Then you look at take the nostalgia out of No Way Home. There's nothing there. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. definitely a letdown, because where's the freaking multiverse? And then you look at all the other things that were supposed to go into this. Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Sorry, now Captain America and Winter Soldier, but Falcon and Winter Soldier had its issues, and we know a lot of that came from editing and stuff dealing with a side story they dropped. WandaVision bungled its ending. You have
I would say that one is super solid.
Hawkeye,
that's one of my favorites.
Mid,
like
it's got
Jammer.
Yeah, it's got good moments, but again, in the middle of the season and some of the side stories, and let's not forget the awful Fisk. Like, everything about Kingpin is just awful in that. And God, I do not want Daredevil Born Again. It's scaring the hell out of me. Everything has been, dude, where is this phase's Iron Man or Winter Soldier, or what was a good one in phase 3? I'm not going to compare it to the Avengers films, but where is this movie's Winter Soldier, Iron Man 1, or even God, what was a good phase 3 that's not the last?
It's not Civil War.
No, even Civil War. Where is this phase's standout? It's Shang-Chi, and it's a good movie, but even it's not on the caliber of anything from before it.
I would still say, I mean, nostalgia or not, like, that is what's built into it, and that's what helps even a lot of Star Wars movies. No Way Home is the top 5 for me of the entire MCU. In fact, it's probably number 5. I've watched it many times. It's great.
I don't know, Nick.
I haven't seen the extended cut just because I didn't. Even though it was $3 movie day, I didn't want to go to theaters. Theaters are annoying.
I don't know, man. I miss Marvel being good. I'm not used to having this many meh or outright blah, if not bad, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. I've never had this type of negative experience with the MCU before. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of negativity since Far From Home.
And I think that's the result of how great we had it with Endgame. And then after
so maybe it's time to close it down.
Endgame. Never.
Maybe it's time to
We're heading, like, there's still great stuff. Like, Loki, even episodes of Loki dragged, I feel like it's really good. And of course, it had the best reveal so far in phase 4.
What's that?
I would agree. It has the best reveal of season 4.
Yeah, also, and then they've never paid any of it. No,
just the character. I mean, who we'll be seeing
it was good.
next.
It was fun.
Our first movie of phase 5, we'll be seeing. I mean, it's not a spoiler. Kang. Kang is going to be, hopefully, we see him more often than they say he's big in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we might not see him again until the Kang Dynasty. But I'd like him to pop up even bigger than Thanos.
To your point about the whole, reboot, resetting for the rest of this multiverse saga, then you can really point to where the frack is the frickin' multiversal consequences. And I'll tell you guys this, there's a lot of spoilers for Quantumania out there. If some of the more reliable ones are true, we're still not necessarily going to have a big multiversal situation come
with the announcement of
next year.
Secret Wars. I don't think we'll go full multiverse that everyone's expecting until Secret Wars, or maybe the Kang Dynasty leading into Secret Wars. That's the same thing with the Infinity Wars. But Thanos is coming, but we're slowly inching our way there.
They never
look, here's the orb, and then we don't hear about a stone for like 6 movies, and it's like, hey, it's the ether.
That many, but they never sold us on the Infinity Stones happening multiple times and then didn't deliver. We've heard 3-4 times, if you want to count WandaVision, but we've heard like 4 times that the whole MCU will change forever. That the multiverse is here. It's all different, ladies and gentlemen, and we heard that for Loki, for No Way Home, and Multiverse of Madness, which actually had the word multiverse in it. And yes, they showed us multiple universes, but when we finished the movie, we're at 616 with everyone essentially other than America. Great character, by the way, underutilized in that film. all squarely in 616 where they essentially left off. I don't know, man.
Except for the post-credit sequence in that, where
but
Charlize Theron is basically like, "Come with me if you want to live." Only not so much, where she's like, "Hey, let's go save the world."
Even then, they re-edited things because that was originally supposed to be a different Doctor Strange. That was supposed to be Strange Supreme, Dark Strange, however you want to word it. Anyways, Nick.
I guess I'll still give my letter grade. I know yours is gonna be really, really low. Mine is a C, which is considerably lower than last week, which I think was a B, which was considerably lower than the week before. I think I gave the first 4 episodes A's.
Dude,
here's something that doesn't fix stuff real quick. It doesn't fix a problem when you look at the camera and say like, "Oh, I know, what a bummer we're doing this," but that's because weddings are always a bummer. Just because you're meta, it doesn't. You can use meta really well, like Deadpool or the first Lego movie, but you can't save a scene by looking at the screen and being like, "I know this is gonna suck. It would suck if we weren't so meta." Like Lego Movie 2 felt like that the entire movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, "Hey, this guy is played by Chris Pratt and he has velociraptors and a spaceship," and like, I get it. Great, I get it. Yeah, the first one's fantastic, but
first one's great.
Once you continue on. Or like, just the whole main point is you can't save a movie by being, "Hey, this movie, we know it. Hey, everyone, like, look at us. Look at me talk to you."
Yeah, and repeating things again and again makes something lose its flavor. It's kind of like chewing on the same piece of bubblegum for a while.
So what is your grade then? Lower than a D?
D minus.
D minus, okay. That's what you felt like.
And it's like just barely above an F because no matter how bad it is, Tatiana is doing a great job as Jen and She-Hulk with what she's given. There are enough tiny moments in there of solid comedy. It's just so hit or miss, but mostly miss. They're batting about like a 0.05, not even hitting 1 in 10. They're hitting like it's bad. Anyways, sorry guys. Right. Super negative show today.
We'll see if, like most shows, if it begins to pick up again.
Maybe we can hope.
We have the little tease, of course, of there being a bigger threat. We've talked about earlier in the series.
Do you think we'll see Leader?
That would be cool to see a little bit of him before New World Order. That'd actually be really cool. That's what I thought at first. It's a very WandaVision, like early episode ending, where it's like just some person in a lab. You only see their hands, but they're monitoring it.
Yep.
And then, of course, no tag.
What's her name?
I mean, I guess that is the tag, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think Tatiana's too clueless to have a big plot going on. But they reference those first 4 guys that jump her early in the series are trying to get a blood sample, and they're like, "No, it won't penetrate her skin." And what we saw was something that would penetrate Hulk's skin.
Yeah,
and then I assume when they say there's a tag on every episode, they meant that could have worked after the credits.
I think we're gonna see that nerdy guy that was asking her all sorts of personal questions on their date, and then he was at the law firm later. I think we're gonna see him again. I think he's involved with that. I think I told you that.
You said that, especially since we saw him twice, and he also does seem to be like a different show has me paranoid about the best guy being the guy that betrays her. In this case, Josh, but I think it will be someone more like him. And Josh is a legitimately good guy, I think.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes loose. You want to say the stuff, or am I saying the stuff?
Either way.
Hey guys, check out lrmonline.com every day for all entertainment news, needs, opinions. We have written articles on all of that, as well as celebrity interviews. They all go up on the website. Podcasts are available there as well. They all get write-ups. You can find the podcast wherever you get podcasts from. We have Daily Cup of Genre Breaking Geek. We have the Cantina, which is the Star Wars version of this. We're reviewing Andor. Check out our Andor 1 through 3 episodes 1 through 3 review on there. Anime Versal Reviews, finishing up Classroom of the Elite Season 2. That'll actually be a live review Monday night.
Nice. So
check that out. Rings of Power is being reviewed on our new review of the Rings show. And all of those go up on the YouTube channel in video format. Please hit the subscribe button. Thanks to all 556 subs.
Yeah, we're
so far.
growing, baby. Mostly because of the anime stuff. 'Cause apparently, Kyle's filling a hole that we didn't know
I guess
existed.
so. I'm pretty good
Fill
at
that hole,
filling holes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good at engineers do a lot of digging in the art. What? Your brain went dirty? God, Nick, you've been
So
watching
did yours.
too much.
You said it a second time.
Absolutely.
I knew you meant the second time.
I can pretend that it's not a dirty thing and use my time in the engineers. No, we also have AVR Squared, which is anime reactions and genre shot trailer reactions. So a lot of great content on there for you guys. Check it all out. Nick, you can talk about.
Well, you already mentioned it. We Breaking Geek rated the podcast on Fridays. This week, Andor is our subject. So if you want to hear two different groups of geeks talk about Andor, check out the Cantina, and then check out our news segments before we get to Andor on Breaking Geek. Because sometimes you just gotta cover the best geek of the week, and that might be the same on two different shows.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Especially
when something as big as a new Star Wars project.
Pretty big.
So I think with that, Excelsior.
Enough said.